The struggle, the difficulty, is what builds your expertise. Oh, today's episode is going to be so good. Before we jump into it, I have to tell you who I am. My name is Natalie Hughes. I'm a life mindset and manifestation coach. I'm also adjusting my mic. In my business and on my platform, I support professional women in creating lives for themselves that are emotionally fulfilled and purpose-driven. Whether your purpose is climbing up that corporate ladder, whether your purpose is growing and expanding your business to your next level of income so that you can hire your next employee, or your purpose is getting married and being a mother, being a woman with self-worth who can naturally raise daughters that love themselves. This is the place for you to do all of that. I want to help you get everything that you came here for. Happiness, fulfillment, creative self-expression in every aspect of life. And that's what we do here. And you're listening to Naked and Noisy, Manifestation Tools for the Professional Woman. I love this podcast. Music is coming back, okay? We are going to do music. We are going to do an intro. We are going to do something, but it just has not happened yet, okay? You can go back a couple dozen episodes back and you can listen to the music then. Okay, let's jump into today's episode. The struggle is what builds your expertise. Now, I got to start this off with a disclaimer because we don't ever need or want to glorify the struggle. We don't need to struggle to have clients, struggle to make money, struggle to be loved in order to prove that we deserve it, okay? We're not saying that if it comes quickly and easily to you, then you're not good enough or you didn't work hard enough. It's none of that. But this episode is for the woman who didn't get it overnight. I'm the woman who didn't get it overnight. I've been working on this business for 5 years, and I have learned so much. I was just talking with my friend on the phone earlier, and I was just realizing as I was talking about all of my accomplishments and telling her about this story and all this other stuff, I was just like, oh my God, I have overcome so much. I have become so much. I am so much more confident in myself today. I'm so much more confident around pricing. I'm so much more confident around receiving money. I am so much more confident in life than I was. I'm so much more confident in life today than I was 5 years ago when I started this business. And there are women on Instagram who manifested millions by 25. I can't say that I'm not one of those women because I'm about 25 and a half now, and I am not closing myself off to millions, okay? You might fuck around and see me fall into that category, okay? So I'm not going to put that one out there, but there are women who were making millions 5 years into their business, and I'm on 5.5, and I'm not making millions yet. Well, millions have not manifested yet, okay? And that's okay. Not a crime. It's not a crime. Not illegal. There are women on Instagram that will tell you, this is how I retired my mom in 2 years. This is how I used scripting to change my life. If you just commit to showing up every day for 1 year, your life will look like mine. And that's fabulous. It's fabulous for them. But a bitch like me, it's not that I'm broken. It's not that I'm unworthy. It's that I'm healing from PTSD, the complex kind. You know, there's some real life shit that has gone on for me over the past 5 years in business. And then, the 20 years of life before that. And for a long time, I felt embarrassed. I felt ashamed. Nobody's going to listen to me because I don't drive a G-Wagon. Nobody's going to listen to me because I'm not shopping on Rodeo Drive. Nobody's going to listen to me because I don't have millions. Why would people listen to me instead of listening to such and such person? Why would people listen to me instead of listening to other person who has more success? What if people won't listen to me because I don't have the success that I want and desire? And then I was on a call last week, and this idea and concept of your expertise is established during the struggle. It was really introduced to me on that call, and that shit just, a light bulb went off inside of me. And I actually recorded an episode, but for some reason I'm not feeling super confident in that episode. Not like there's anything wrong with it. I didn't feel like it was complete. I didn't love the delivery on it, so I'm re-recording it now. And that's why the episode is coming out on Tuesday instead of Monday, okay? But the point is, that idea and concept of the struggle creating your expertise, it really hit me. Because here's one way to look at it. The woman who pulled out her journal and scripted for 2 months and manifested $1 million. That's one hell of a story. That's an amazing story. It's a fabulous story. Nothing wrong with the story. But what happens when the next woman who comes from a dysfunctional family, the next woman who has a narcissistic mother, or the next woman who has low self-worth, the next woman who has low self-esteem, when that woman purchases the Manifest It All in 2 days course, and then she shows up for 2 days and her life is not drastically changed, what is she going to think? What's the first thing that she's going to think? She's going to think, what's wrong with me? I showed up for 60 days and I'm not making 6 figures yet. What's wrong with me? I showed up for 90 days. I followed the framework and I'm not making multiple 6 figures yet. I'm not a millionaire yet. My husband hasn't manifested yet. I don't have everything that I want and desire yet. What's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? And the answer is nothing. The answer is that everything is not exactly as it seems. And it's not that some of these women are lying. It's that they're telling you that they manifested 30,000 in 30 days, but they didn't tell you that 3 years before that, they were working on manifesting 1,000, and then they were working on manifesting 10,000, and then they were working on 20, and then they were working on 30. You didn't really get the entire full picture because I showed up and I worked hard for 3 years to manifest 30,000 in 30 days isn't really sexy, but it's real. So there's always a greater, bigger picture. So on the one hand, the woman who has struggled more, the woman who has gone through some shit, the woman who has had to fight to overcome some shit, you have a different experience in her courses. You have a different experience in her programs. Because you don't get to enroll in a Nath Hughes course and then show up for 1 year and not have a radically different life and go, there's something wrong with me. You don't get to do that. Why? Because it took Nath Hughes at least 5 fucking years. It took her at least 5.5 years. And then she really started her healing journey a year before she left college. So it kind of took her like 6.5 years of deliberately trying to heal herself and figure shit out along the way. So really, if I wanted to compare myself to her, I'd have to give myself 6 years of consistent effort and fighting. And that's more fucking realistic. That's more fucking realistic. It doesn't sound sexy. It doesn't sound like that microwave culture, quick and easy. Do this and this and this, and then you'll get a magical result. It doesn't sound sexy, but it's real. And I'm not saying that it has to take you 6 years. It really doesn't have to take you 6 years, because every single thing that I learned over the course of 6 years, everything that I had to fight to figure out over the course of 6 years is inside of my program. So it's probably not going to take you 6 years because, obviously you're speeding up time by getting access to everything that I know. You are welcome. But it's like understanding that there's nothing wrong with me because I'm struggling with this. There's nothing broken about me because it wasn't easy for me, right? And now let's shift it and talk about it in another way. The struggle builds expertise. I had an experience a couple of months ago where I became aware of an unsupported limiting belief. My unsupported limiting belief was, I don't want to make more money because if I make more money, then I'm going to have to take responsibility for this member of my family who I don't want to take responsibility for. And if I choose not to take responsibility for this person, then they're going to guilt trip me and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. There was so much wrapped up in that. That was fucking loaded. And I brought that to my mentor at the time. But my mentor at the time couldn't help me with that. And it's not that there was anything wrong with her, but she doesn't know what that's like. She has a great relationship with that family member to her. It's her mother. She has a great relationship with her mother. When she talks in her videos, she's like, yeah, there were times that I felt so unsupported along my journey with money, but I always had the support of my mom. My mom always supported me. My mom has always believed in me. My mom is my number one fan. That woman could not help me move through that trigger that was coming up for me. Yes, she had processes and different things like that. In that moment, I didn't need a process. I needed a woman who was a generational curse breaker. I needed a woman who was a generational curse breaker who could plainly communicate. Let everybody in your family fucking hate you. Cut off everybody that needs to be cut off. Guilt is unnecessary. You want to be let out of here, you are free to go. And even me saying that is so incredibly simplified. We don't have time to get into the nooks and crannies, and that's not even what this episode is about. So we won't. That's the most important part. My mentor could not take me through that process. My mentor could not take me through that shift. She has never had to come up against that feeling. She doesn't know what that's like. She doesn't know what that experience is like. I have a dead father and a mother that I experienced a lot of abuse from. That's my life experience. That's what I'm working with. Everybody doesn't have that. Everybody doesn't have that. And a lot of the people that you do see, a lot of the people that I do see, even the manifestation coaches and the business women, have healed their relationships with their mothers, go on trips with their mothers to South Africa, and blah, 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 blah. So I'm looking at these women and I'm looking at their lives, and I'm starting to create a standard for myself that this, in order to be healed, in order to be successful, you have to do it this way, and you have to create this experience, and you have to heal relationships, and you have to build that closeness, and you have to do this and this and this. And it's not true. There's no standard. And I didn't need to force myself to create a relationship with my mother that looked any kind of way. I needed to be willing to be open and honest and authentic with myself and what my desires were and who I wanted to take responsibility for and who I didn't want to take responsibility for, and what kind of things I wanted to plan for financially and what kind of things I didn't want to plan for financially. I needed to be honest with myself. And there are some things, some emotionally complex things, that feel difficult to be honest with yourself about. And sometimes, if people have not gone through it, we feel like they don't get us. We feel like they can't get us. We feel like they can't serve us. And this is not a black and white statement thing that's absolutely true. You do not have to find people who have healed from what you've gone through, and those are the only people that you can listen to, and like all of that stuff. There's no need to go into extremes with any of this. But the fact is, because of my life experience, because of my journey, because of the things that I've learned, because of the things that I have gone through, I am greater equipped to support people who have moved through similar things as me. There's expertise that is created in the struggle. The woman who got it overnight, the woman who got it and it was so easy and so simple. Have you ever had a conversation with someone who it's so easy and it's so simple for them? And shit just feels like the most undermining thing you've ever experienced in your life? I had a coach years ago tell me, God, there's like multiple people coming to my mind right now. I had coaches tell me, just let it in. This was like years ago, like 3 years ago, maybe 4. I wanted to work with her. Working with her was $1,000 a month. At the time, I felt like $1,000 a month was like $1 million a month, $1 billion a month. That felt so out of reach for me. And she's like, law of attraction, your inner being will guide you to it. Just allow it in. And that just felt like, what the fuck is wrong with me? That I can't just allow it in. And it's like, well, Of course, I couldn't just allow in $1,000 a month. At that point in time, I felt guilty receiving. I felt guilty being taken care of. I was under the impression that every single time any human being ever took care of me, it was because I some way, somehow emotionally manipulated them and controlled them into taking care of me. And then I felt guilty and like a terrible fucking person. So of course, me receiving money for my work was a difficult thing that I struggled to do. And of course, me receiving support, me receiving a coach, me receiving mentorship was a difficult thing for me to do, because I felt inherently evil. I felt that I was an inherently bad person. And every single time somebody took care of me in any way, I was hurting them. I was taking from them. I was ruining their life. Because that's how I was treated growing up. That's how I was spoken to. That's how I was spoken about. When I cried and expressed emotional needs, my mother ignored me and said that she was not going to allow a child to control her actions. She's not going to comfort a crying kid or a crying baby because she's not going to let a baby control her actions. So, no, Kelly, it was not so easy and simple for me to just allow the money in, allow the money to manifest. There was so much guilt and there was so much shame that had to be moved through before I could allow money to manifest, before I could allow money to come in my business, getting paid for my work. I spent years learning how to do my work so well, and then years figuring out how to get paid for my work, how to get my energy behind, how to create a belief system that supported me in being paid for my work. I had experiences of being afraid to ask for the sale, being afraid to ask for money, assuming that people don't have the money to pay me, assuming that people don't want what I have to offer, feeling like I don't belong. The woman who showed up and started a business and quickly and easily manifested clients and money and sales, that is such an amazing and inspiring experience for her to have. But when that woman comes across a woman like me, who feels guilty being taken care of, who feels unsupported, who feels inherently evil for having needs in the first place, who feels so closed off and blocked off to receiving, when that woman who gets it so easily comes across a woman like me and tells a woman like me to just open herself up to receive, and then a woman like me has difficulty doing that, it makes women like me feel like shit. It makes women like me feel broken. It makes women like me feel powerless. It makes women like me feel like it's impossible for us to create happiness. It's impossible for us to create a new experience. It's impossible for us to create a new life. But because I went through the healing journey that I went through, because I went through the things that I went through in my business in terms of money, in terms of charging for my services, in terms of manifesting money in general, feeling empowered, feeling a sense of belonging, believing in my ability to create community that supports me, believing in my ability to be taken care of by the world, I can take a woman from feeling like a total and complete outcast to feeling like an important, significant woman who matters and belongs in the world. I can take a woman from feeling like nobody wants what she has to offer to feeling confident in her purpose and knowing that the world wants and needs her to succeed. I can take a woman from feeling powerless, like she can't create success for herself, to feeling empowered, knowing that her success is inevitable, that it is her destiny, that the world is on her side, that God is on her side. I can help a woman to change her mind. I can help a woman to change her business. I can help a woman to change her life. And it's because I have moved through that journey myself. My expertise has been built brick by brick over the past 5 years. It was very difficult for me. And I have gratitude for the difficulty, because I am damn good at what I do. I know what it feels to talk yourself into a corner. I know what it feels to feel like it's not working. And I know how to move through it. I know how to move through those blocks. I know how to move through that resistance. The only way that a woman comes into my world and does not shift is if she deliberately chooses not to shift. That's the only way. If she chooses not to show up, if she chooses not to listen to the content, if she chooses not to do the journal prompts, if she chooses not to do the meditations, if she chooses to stay exactly where she is, that is the only way that a woman comes into my world and does not transform. And I'm able to have confidence in this because I've moved myself through this journey. There's expertise that is built in your struggle. And so when women come to you, when they speak to you, you start to shift energy within them, even when you're not doing it on purpose. You start to shift energy within them, even when you're not doing it on purpose. It's like there's something in your soul, there's something in your energy that's like, hey, I know what you need. There's something in my soul, there's something in my energy that communicates to every single woman that I come in contact with, hey, I know what you need. Yeah, this is something that I went through. This is something that I healed through. This is something that I shifted from. And nobody's perfect. The woman who was telling me to just let it in all those years ago, she experienced CPTSD. She taught me so much. She just was not the person who could help me move through the immense amount of guilt that I was dealing with at that particular time in my life. She didn't have that. She didn't respond to her trauma in that way. And that's okay. Because when there's different women with their slightly different stories, we grow with each other. We learn from each other. We use the things that we learn from one another to heal ourselves and reach those nooks and crannies that maybe the next woman couldn't help us reach. And then when we have gone deeper within ourselves, we're able to give that to the next woman. There's a woman out there who has been, so negatively impacted from her childhood experiences that maybe the things that I've gone through can't get all the way in there. But they sure as hell can help. So there's expertise in the struggle. The point of today's episode is that I don't want you to be the woman who beats herself up because it took her a little bit longer, when in reality, that is where your expertise is built. You don't just want quick, fast, and in a hurry. There's nothing wrong with quick, fast, and in a hurry. There's nothing wrong with rapid growth and expansion. I grow pretty rapidly, actually. But there's nothing wrong with that. But the woman who got everything easily, the woman who got everything handed to her, the woman who never experienced difficulty a day in her life, what happens when things get hard? What happens when things get difficult? What happens when a problem arises? When I'm the woman who has experienced the struggle, when I'm the woman who has fought for myself, has fought for what I wanted, has fought for my desires, I can see negative experiences. I can have negative experiences. I can see unwanted things in my reality, and they don't stop me. Just because I have a negative experience doesn't mean that I'm going to downward spiral because I have overcome so many negative experiences. That's self-esteem. Self-esteem is built through experience. Self-esteem is my belief in myself. My self-esteem is defined by what I believe that I can do, what I believe that I can accomplish, what I believe that I can achieve. No one is born with self-esteem. That's why we have courage, the courage to try new things, the courage to take risks. Confidence is built over time. Self-esteem, the belief in my ability to achieve something, is built over time. So when I am the woman who has struggled, and instead of giving up, I have fought through, I have committed to see it through to the other side. Once I make it to the other side, I learn something about myself. Oh, I can do this. I can create positive change in my life. If I hold out during a storm, the storm will pass. It's resilience. It's resilience. It's like emotional resilience. What is emotional resilience? Emotional resilience is not the same thing as being emotionally closed off. Emotional resilience is not emotional avoidance. When I feel pain, I go numb. That's not resilience, that's avoidance. Emotional resilience is my ability to bring myself back to an emotional state of calm or an emotional state of regulation. Emotional resilience is like being a boat that has that buoyancy that's bouncing on the surface of the water. That's emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is when I understand that my emotions, whether it's my fear, whether it's my joy, whether it's my pain, my discomfort, my powerlessness, my helplessness, my self-doubt, my negative emotions, they will become more intense and more intense and more intense and more intense. They will peak, and then they will become less intense and less intense and less intense and less intense and less intense. And then I will come back to a state of calm. If I sit with my emotions and I ride that emotional wave, if I allow myself to continue to feel, if I continue to stay present in my body, if I EFT tap and blah, 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 whatever I need to do to process those emotions and feelings, the emotions will pass through me. That's emotional resiliency. Self-esteem, that internal resiliency, that confidence, is having an understanding that it might look bad, it might look terrible, it might look terrible, it might look terrible. Eventually it will peak and it will start to look a little better and a little better and a little better and a little better and a little better until it's back good again. Everything is okay. We got this. We're on the other side. We made it through that. I believe in myself. When we don't have that resilience, emotionally, what happens is we experience pain and we experience pain and we experience pain and we say, the pain is getting worse. I'm going to run away. I'm going to numb myself. I'm going to drink alcohol. I'm going to smoke weed. I'm going to ignore how I feel and I'm going to focus on my work. We ignore how we feel. We say, nope, I'm going to abandon myself. I'm going to abandon these emotions and feelings. We cut it off. Why is that? Because we think that if we don't cut off the emotion, it's just going to keep getting worse fucking forever. But that's not the truth. But when we cut our emotions off, we create anxiety. We create fear. Because it's just going to keep getting fucking worse. And it's never going to stop. And now I don't want to feel. And now I'm numb. Now I'm in a cycle where I run from negative emotions. Now I'm in a cycle where I start feeling more pain. I run away. I start feeling a little bit of pain. I run away. Because I do not yet know that I can make it through this emotional storm. Your self-esteem, your belief in yourself happens when you make it through a storm. Because at some point, you make it through enough storms, you achieve enough goals, you manifest enough times, you have self-esteem, you believe that you can create positive change. You believe that you can get through this storm. You believe that you can move through these negative emotions and it won't consume you. It won't be bigger than life. It won't be the end of you. You know that you can make it to the other side. And so it stops being this big, huge mountain. And they start going back to being little molehills that you get to ski over, hop over, ride over, drift over, sail over. That's resilience. And it's only something that you acquire through experience. And so when you have that resilience from your own lived experience, then you lend that to other people. Because they see you when you go through your struggle. Or they see the way that you respond to their struggle. And your confidence in yourself. And your self-esteem and your belief in yourself. It communicates to them that they're going to be okay. It inspires self-esteem within them. And this is especially important when we have kids. Why? Because the way that we respond to life as adults is always communicating to our children how they should respond to life. So when we're women who don't have self-esteem, when we don't believe in our ability to create positive change in our lives, when we don't believe in our ability to create environments of safety and security for ourselves, then negative things happen in our lives because it's a part of life. Unwanted things happen in our lives, and then we freak the fuck out. And when we freak the fuck out, whether we're having a downward spiral and we're crying, or we're calling everyone that we know, talking about the drama over and over and over again, not actually processing and feeling the emotions, just ranting and ruminating in that energy, we wreck our children's nervous systems. We communicate to our kids, nothing is okay, nothing is okay. We don't know if things are going to be okay. We're not sure if things are going to be okay. And our kids are looking up at us and they're going, nothing is okay, nothing is okay, nothing is okay. We don't know if things are going to be okay. We're not sure if things are going to be okay. And that, my darlings, is how you perpetuate generational trauma. It's how you create kids with general anxiety. It's how you create children who grow up to be adults that don't believe in themselves. And then the opposite is true. When you're the woman who's got this shit, because you've been through some shit just like this, if it wasn't some shit exactly like this, it was some similar enough shit that you went through 5, 10, 15 years ago. You handle shit like this. This is who you are. You're a woman that moves through shit like this. You're a woman that handles shit like this. This is nothing to be worried about. This is nothing that you can't overcome. This is nothing that you and God can't handle together. This is nothing. Your kids are watching you and they're going, oh, this is nothing. Things are good. I can keep focusing on playing on my tablet. I can keep focusing on reading my book. I can keep focusing on being a kid. I can keep focusing on enjoying my life because things are good. We're good. We're safe. My parents are handling it. My parents got it. Parentification is when you're walking around going, I don't got it, I don't got it, I don't got it. And your kids are taking on that responsibility even though they can't do anything about it. And they're going, my mom doesn't have this, my mom doesn't have this. I'm so insecure. I'm not taken care of. Your self-esteem is impacting everything. It's impacting your job. It's impacting your employees. You're a boss. You're the CEO. You're in the C-suite. You're a manager at that corporation. Something is happening. There's a recession. This, and this is going on within the economy. You are the leader of that environment. When you start sweating and you start feeling nervous and you start questioning whether or not you can do this and whether or not things are going to work out for you and whether or not you're going to be able to pay your people and whether or not things will be okay, that negatively impacts your employees. That negatively impacts your people. That negatively impacts your audience members. You got to be the woman who leads your life. You got to be the woman who leads your reality. Because everybody is watching you. Everybody is watching you. And even if you're in the position where you have bosses now, at some point, I know you, Miranda, you want to be the boss. So start showing up and being the boss now so that when the boss above you is having their moment because they don't know how to build up their self-esteem and they start sweating and you're the person who believes in their ability, you're the person who has that healthy self-esteem, you're the person who knows that they have the power to positively influence and impact their life, you're the person that they're going to. You're the person that they're referencing. You're the person that they're taking notes from. Isn't it just obvious that you're next up for that promotion? Isn't it just obvious that you're next up for that raise? Isn't it just obvious that you're getting the bonus and that if it's not at this company, it's at the next company? Isn't it just obvious that people throughout the industry know who you are? That they want you on the team, that they want you at the company, that they want you in the C-suite because you know how to lead? You need to know how to lead your mind. You need to know how to lead your life. And you need to know how to lead your reality. And when you master these things, then you can be the woman who leads her family. You can be the mother who leads her children. You can be the business owner who leads her employee. You can be the manager who leads her team. It all starts with you. And that self-esteem is built in those little moments of struggle, those moments of adversity, those moments of difficulty. So I want you to look at your life today. Look at the things that you've gone through. Look at the things that you struggled through, maybe the things that you're currently struggling with. And ask yourself the question, how is this building my expertise? How is this building my expertise? How is this powerfully preparing me to serve as a leader? How is this powerfully supporting me in building self-esteem and resilience? How is this powerfully supporting me in building self-esteem and resilience? Those are things that I would love for you to journal on after listening to today's episode. All right. And as we wrap all of this up, I've got to remind you that I have the free resource library. There are over 12 resources, journals, workbooks, EFT tapping scripts, EFT tapping videos. I've got some miniature courses that I'm getting ready to add inside of there. There's really, really, really good stuff. It's the place you want to be, and it's free. Okay. I also have to remind you that the Living in the End virtual retreat is happening at the end of this month. It's happening on September 28th and 29th. You can join us. It's virtual from anywhere in the world. And it's the 2-day virtual event made for the woman who is ready to use her mind, energy, and beliefs to manifest her desired relationship, money, and career. Okay? This is the place for you to be. You're leaving with practical tools. There's lectures, there's workshops. I'm making sure that you have everything recorded that you need. You're also going to get some community because we have amazing women in this community, generational curse breakers, generational wealth builders. I am obsessed with every single one of the women in this community, and I know that you're going to love them and you're going to love connecting with them. We're having group prayer and group manifesting twice a day for both days of the retreat, and it's just literally so good. So I'm super duper excited to serve you in this capacity. If you want to learn the schedule, because we're going all day. If you want to learn the schedule, if you want to learn the agendas for the lectures and what you're getting from each workshop, you can get all of that information by clicking the link in the show notes or the description. Okay. And if you're looking for a course that you would like to invest in yourself by enrolling in, then you can check out the I Can and I Should course. That is my self-esteem boosting course. And that course is going to take you through a step-by-step process of deliberately building out your belief in your ability to achieve, to overcome, to manifest, and to create that positive change in your life. This course is for the woman who is ready to set and achieve every single goal that she sets for herself, because she knows how to take herself through a mental process where she is releasing the lies that say she can't do it. She is releasing the lies that make her want to downward spiral every single time she makes a mistake. And she is figuring out how to shift her mindset so that she can align with and embody the version of herself who has already reached her goal. So if you want to start making money at your next level, then you want to start talking and thinking and living at that next level. You want to start problem solving at that next level. You don't want to have an experience where you're allowing your fears to hold you back. And the I Can and I Should course is literally made to help you do all of those things and more. You can learn about the course. You can get a breakdown on every single module, and you can enroll by using the links in the show notes as well. I love you. Thank you for tuning in. If you're listening on YouTube, comment. If you're listening anywhere else, send me emails, send me DMs. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you in the next one.